ranking the best prospect from every team in Major League Baseball. My only rule, I'm not counting guys who are currently, at the time of recording, in the majors. So like Nolan McLean doesn't count. Trey Savage doesn't count. I love making prospect content, so if you guys want to see more of it, make sure you click that subscribe button to let me know, as well as dropping a like on the video if you want to see more of it. Let me know in the comment section down below if there's anybody that I missed out on or I should keep an eye out for. I love to hear your guys' opinions. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app, and with the baseball season underway, the NBA playoffs starting, World Cup soon, you need tickets to these events. That's why you use my code GiraffeNeckMarc to save 10% off your next purchase on SeatGeek, whether you're a first-time buyer or not. Click the link in the description to download the app. And like I said, maybe baseball isn't your thing. You can go to NBA playoffs, you can go to the World Cup. They also have concerts, comedy shows, festivals, and so much more. Trust me, I'm looking at anything to avoid having to watch the Mets right now. And the thing that I love the most about SeatGeek is their SeatGeek score. That's where they take tickets and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 to let you know if you're getting a good deal or not. If you see tickets with a green dot or a score closer to 10, that means it's a good deal. You should buy those tickets. When you see tickets with a score closer to 1 or a red or orange circle, that means not the greatest deal. You should probably avoid those. So again, I've got the hookup for you. Use my code GiraffeNeckMarc to save 10% off your next purchase on SeatGeek, whether you're a first-time buyer or not. That's 10% off using my code GiraffeNeckMarc. Click the link in the description, download the app today. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. For the best prospect on the New York Mets, I'm going with AJ Ewing. Ewing has been phenomenal so far in the minor leagues. An incredible athlete, really good hit tool, can play center field, can play up the middle on the infield. A former 4th-round pick, becoming the top prospect in the system, just shows how well the Mets have done at prospect development. So far this year, AJ Ewing is 21 years old, up in AA, and in the small sample has been completely dominant, stealing bases, walking more than he's striking out, hitting for a high average, building on what was an incredibly strong 2025, where he hit over 300 with an 830 OPS, stole 70 bases, and had an on-base percentage over 400. AJ Ewing, best prospect in the Mets system right now. For the Philadelphia Phillies, it's easy. It's Aiden Miller. While he hasn't swung a bat yet in 2026, when he does come back from being injured, you're going to see one of the best prospects in baseball. Miller, strong up the middle, plays shortstop, could even become a third baseman later on in his career. Last year in 2025, had a near 400 on-base percentage, OPS at 800. The power tool is legit with this kid. Someone who people thought was top 10 talent, but fell all the way to number 27 in the 2023 draft to the Phillies because of an injury during high school. Miller hits for power, has gap power, plays good shortstop, gets on base, even stole 59 bases last year. This is a 5-tool player, best prospect in the Philly system by far. You might even see him up at the major league level at some point in 2026. For the Atlanta Braves, a bit of a young farm system, a lot of pitchers at the top. My favorite is Cam Caminiti. Caminiti, 19 years old, last year made 17 appearances between rookie ball and A-ball. At A-ball, he was phenomenal, 56 innings, a 2.08 ERA, struck out 75 batters. He has a good 3-pitch mix of a fastball, slider, changeup. From the left side, 6'2", he throws like 97, which is great, sits around 94, 95. The slider is really good. The changeup is really good. This is a guy who in the future projects to be a frontline starter for the Atlanta Braves. The stuff's great, the command is getting better, and Cam Caminiti is definitely one of the better left-handed pitching prospects in baseball. For the Washington Nationals, their best prospect, in my opinion, Harlan Susana. Now, Susana still hasn't pitched yet this year because of injury, and we're still waiting to hear a little bit more about when he can come back and be healthy. When he is, though, the stuff is some of the most electric in all of baseball. At 22 years of age, Susana was one of the pieces in the Juan Soto trade from the Nats to the Padres, and you can understand why. While there isn't a ton of control, Susana throws 103 miles an hour, has a slider that can touch 90 miles an hour and is absolutely disgusting, and his changeup sits in the mid-90s. It's legitimately an insane arsenal. There is some reliever risk, no doubt. Again, the command is not particularly strong for Susana, but he's only 22 years old, got all the way up to AA last year prior to the injury, strikes everybody out, also walks a ton of guys, but doesn't give up many hits. The stuff is insane. He just needs to be healthy and be a little bit more under control, and this could be a future ace. Last team in the National League East, we've got the Miami Marlins. Their best prospect, Robbie Snelling. Robbie Snelling at AAA. This guy's getting called up sooner than later. Ever since they acquired him from the Padres, Snelling has completely gotten back to that top prospect status. Last year in AAA, Jacksonville, 63 2/3 innings, had a whip under 1, struck out 81 batters, walked only 17. Snelling's built like a football player because he actually was an awesome football player coming out of high school. Fastball that sits in the mid-90s, can touch 100. Has 2 different versions of his changeups. One's a little bit sweepery than the other, which is more gyro, and a changeup that can get right-handed hitters out at times. Robbie Snelling will be making his debut very soon for the Miami Marlins. To the American League East we go. For the New York Yankees, their best prospect is George Lombard Jr. Lombard widely considered the best prospect in this system. While there are some hit tool things that need to be cleaned up, when he makes contact, he hits the ball pretty hard, and he's off to a phenomenal start at AA right now, and he's only 20 years old. The thing that people love about Lombard the most is that he hits the ball hard, and he's a phenomenal shortstop defensively. He's going to be at shortstop for a very long time. He's going to be able to stick at the position. Great hands, great arm, all around good defensively. If the hit tool can keep improving as it has basically every year in the minors, Lombard is going to be a top prospect in the minor leagues very soon. Probably eventually creep into that top 15, top 10 range. It all depends on the hitting because the glove is legit. And he's a big dude, and he's only 20 at AA, might even get to AAA at some point this season. Really high ceiling on Lombard. For the Boston Red Sox, their best prospect, Franklin Arias. Again, not picking Peyton Tolley because he's been at the major league level before. Franklin Arias is not, and wow, does he look awesome. This is such a classic Red Sox move. Find a guy with great bat-to-ball skills, boost up the bat speed, and what do you know, he's starting to hit for a little bit more power. Arias defensively, great. He is going to be the future shortstop of the Boston Red Sox. The only concern ever with him was really what kind of power can you expect out of a 5'11", 170-pound shortstop. But they signed him all the way back in 2023. He's already at AA, dominating the season early on, hitting for more power, getting on base, doing everything that you'd want along with a great glove. This is someone who might get to AAA this year, and then once you're in AAA, you're a stop away. Arias is the next big Red Sox prospect. For the Toronto Blue Jays, it's got to be their first-round pick last year in the draft, JoJo Parker. Went 8th overall, considered to be one of the best prospects in the entire draft. Him and his brother both went, and Parker made his professional debut this year so far in Dunedin A-ball. 10 games, a homer, 10 RBIs, 10 walks, 10 strikeouts, 4 stolen bases, 4 doubles. He's driving the baseball when he's making contact. He's making good swing decisions. He's getting on base. And defensively, seems like he's going to be able to stick at shortstop, if not be a really good second baseman. But what you get excited about with JoJo Parker is the hit tool. Really strong left-handed swing. Takes big hacks on pitches in the zone. He already can hit the ball in the air pretty well and still gets a ton of line drives. Just a really good ball player. Could even play third base one day. Baltimore Orioles, a little bit tougher. I'm going with the pitcher, Luis De Leon. De Leon really burst onto the scene last year, going from A-ball all the way up to AA and having pretty good success. Overall in the season, the 3.3 ERA in 87 innings, a whip at 1.2, which is a little bit high, but he is striking out a ton of guys. He's at AA again this year, struggled a little bit through his first 9 innings, but what we like about De Leon is that from the left side, has a sinker that's like 98 miles an hour, a plus sharp slider that's really tough for lefties to hit, a changeup and a splitter that are both improving to help get right-handed batters out. I don't know if there is ace potential necessarily on Luis De Leon, but this is a guy who I think will be very solid in the Baltimore Orioles rotation for years to come. Might even get a look this year if he continues to be as good as he was last year, has a strong start in AA. For the final team of the American League East, the Tampa Bay Rays, great prospects, but I'm going with Theo Gillen. Ooh, Theo Gillen looks so good. He looks sick. Like the Rays typically do, they went on the athletic profile first with Gillen. 60 grade run tool, was a little bit goofy at the plate in terms of his stance and how he gathered his energy, but now that the Rays have cleaned a little bit of that up, using his athleticism to his advantage, we saw him last year really good. 433 on base percentage last year, stole 36 bases, but this year he's starting to tap into that power because Gillen's a big boy, 6'2", 200 pounds. The former first-round pick is off to an incredible start. He already has 4 home runs and 3 doubles on the season. He is striking out a little bit more, but that's probably because he's trying to find the power. Still, when you see that power, when you see the athleticism, it's an exciting build. National League Central, Chicago Cubs would have been Jackson Wiggins, but looks like he is going to miss the year, or at least down with a mega injury. So instead, I'm going with Jefferson Rojas. Similarly to a lot of these younger prospects that are middle infielders, Rojas had all the tools except the power. He had flown through the minor leagues. He's 20 years old already at AA, even reached AA last year, played 39 games, did struggle. But now we're seeing an adjustment. Rojas looks bigger, stronger, faster. He looks like a much improved player, and we're seeing him hit for a little bit more power. Seeing him play a clean middle infield. Not sure if he's going to be a shortstop or a second baseman in the future, but a guy who all around feels like a good player, feels exactly like what the Cubs do with every player that's in that organization. Well-rounded, and now that he's adding a little bit more power to his game, gives him even more ceiling and hype. Best prospect on the Cincinnati Reds, catcher Alfredo Duno. Alfredo Duno just mashes, absolutely mashes last year. As a 19-year-old at A-ball, 948 OPS on the season, 18 homers, 32 doubles, walked more than he struck out, which again, you just love to see that kind of stuff, a 430 on base. He's played 200 games in the minor leagues in his career, has a 423 on base, a 914 OPS. All he does is mash, mash, mash. And this year again, he's walking just as much as he's striking out. It's been a small sample at high A, but it looks looks like he's going to be able to handle it just fine. The exit velos are great. Alfredo Duno looks like a stud. It's crazy. The Pittsburgh Pirates have another pitching demon in the minors, and it's Seth Hernandez. First round pick in the draft last year, made his professional debut, looked unbelievable. So far in 7 innings, he's allowed 3 hits, 1 walk, and 15 strikeouts at A-ball. I got to imagine by the end of the year, we're seeing Seth Hernandez in at least Double-A. The fastball touches 100 miles an hour pretty consistently. The curveball and slider are absolutely disgusting. And oh, he has a great changeup too. In case you're left-handed, you still don't have the ability to hit this guy. He has full confidence in 4 pitches. He places them where he wants. The command's phenomenal. There's an argument that he might be the best pitching prospect in baseball right now. Seth Hernandez is absolutely disgusting. It's crazy that like in a year or two, we might see another pitching demon up for the Pirates. That rotation's loaded. Their player development's been great. Seth Hernandez is going to be that next big guy. For the Milwaukee Brewers, you know who it is. It's Jesus Mate. Electric name, Jesus made. You gotta be kidding me. That's such a great name for a baseball superstar. 60 grade hit, 60 grade power, 60 grade run, 60 grade arm, 60 grade field. This dude grades as one of the best prospects we've seen in quite some time. Probably won't name the guy who had similar grades most recently. At 18 years old, he's already in Double-A, and in the 11 games that we've seen thus far, he's like dominating. Because he did struggle a little bit in his extremely small sample size last year, but Mate's got the power. He hits to all fields, plays a good middle infield, shortstop, second base, whatever you need him to, walks more than he strikes out, steals bases, sweet swing from the left-hand side, and even has a pretty good swing from the right. Extra base hit machine, so twitchy, all the stuff you want out of a top prospect in baseball, and the Brewers got him. Another loaded system. Finally, for the St. Louis Cardinals, their top prospect, in my opinion, is Rainel Rodriguez, catcher. Rodriguez absolutely flew up rankings last year when he burst onto the scene, finally came over to the American side to play some ball, and mashed. He's up at high A right now, and through 10 games, he's looked extremely comfortable. The exit velos are great. He's hitting for extra base hits. He's walking just as much as he strikes out. And those are all the things that he did in the lower levels that made you excited, and he's continuing it on. For a 19-year-old who's catching at high A, so he is very young, with a 65 grade power tool, the Cardinals just print catchers. It's crazy. Their system is full of them, but Rainel Rodriguez, to me, is the top prospect in this system. The swing is absolutely vicious. I love watching this guy hit. He's got a good punch. Back to the American League for the Minnesota Twins. You've heard his name a bunch. It's still going to be Walker Jenkins. Although my boy Emmanuel Rodriguez is looking good, he just needs to stay healthy. Similarly, Jenkins needs to stay healthy. Has never played more than 84 games in a minor league season. He's up at AAA, got there last season. There's an outside chance he gets to the majors this year. It's been a slow start, especially with the pop, but he's still getting on base a ton, a 365 on base, despite having a 603 OPS to start the season. Jenkins is a 5-tool player. He's going to hit. He's going to hit for power because he's a monster of a human being, and he's athletic enough and good in the outfield where he could probably play center field as well. The former number 5 overall pick probably makes his major league debut as long as he stays healthy. This Twins team's not good. Jenkins is the future. For the Cleveland Guardians, it's simple. Former number 1 overall pick back in 2024, Travis Bazzana. We saw Bazzana shine in the World Baseball Classic for Team Australia. We've heard all about him since he was playing at Oregon State in college. He's at the AAA level, and it feels like he's probably not too far away from being called up to the big leagues for Cleveland. Similarly to a lot of top prospects, Travis Bazzana makes fantastic swing decisions, and when you put the ball in the zone, he punishes it. He's not going to have the craziest exit velos, but he still finds barrels. He gets on base. Extra base hit machine, already has 10 extra base hits in 17 games at AAA this season. Plays a good second base. He's really an all-around great player, and I think in Cleveland, this could be a guy that we see maybe fall into like 20 home runs a year, just because I think the power will play at the major league level eventually, and he's still so young, only 23 years old. Big fan of Bazzana. Ooh, for the Chicago White Sox, don't even get me started on Braden Montgomery. I saw this kid at the Combine back when he was in high school before he went to Stanford and then Texas A&M, and he was one of my favorite players there. The White Sox got him in the Garrett Crochet trade from the Red Sox, and he has just been awesome. He's already up to Double-A. I think he's probably going to get close to a call-up this year. If the White Sox are smart, you call him up. Let's see what he's got. The power's legit. He's a switch hitter. He does it from both sides. He actually was a two-way prospect, so his arm is an absolute cannon in the outfield. The power is something that leads me to believe he could be a 25 to 30 home run a year guy. Gets on base at a fairly good clip, too. There is some swing and miss in his game, but the power potential and the fact that this is a guy who could be like a 350 with 25 to 30 home runs guy a year, 350 on base, of course, the White Sox just don't get a lot of that. So I'm expecting them to really take good care of Braden Montgomery. But there is one prospect that jumps out to me. It's Kendry Chorio. 18 years old, at Low A, Columbia, shout out Gamecocks. I lived in that city for 5 years. Wish I could have seen Kendry Chorio instead I had to watch Tim Tebow. Chorio's got some really exciting stuff. A huge riser on these prospects lists because he was just signed internationally last year by the Royals. He's 18 years old. He's a little bit smaller in size. but the fastball sits in the mid to upper 90s. He's got a wicked hammer. The curveball is so good. It's like a 12-6, and he's even got a kick changeup again to help get out those lefties. There's still a lot of development left in Kendry Churio's game and career. He's only 18, just got to A-ball, but from what we've seen from him thus far, the stuff looks really, really good. I can't wait to see what the Royals do for his development. And then for the last team in the AL Central, we have the Detroit Tigers. It's going to be Max Clark. Need to give a shout out to Bryce Rayner. That's my dog. I think he's going to become a top 10 prospect in baseball by the end of the year. Okay, back to Max Clark now, who is a top 10 prospect in baseball right now. Ooh, he is tearing up AAA to the point where the Tigers need to call him up sooner than later. While we still don't really know what the power potential is going to be like for Max Clark right now, if he were to get called up, I think he eventually will play into that power. At the absolute worst, he is going to be a plus glove in center field. Get on base more than the guy that you have right now. Hit for a high average. Clark is really good. Someone who I was interested to see his adjustment to professional baseball coming out of high school in Indiana. Oh, he's absolutely crushed. He's getting better and better every single season, and he's got so much swag. Just a fun player to watch. Can't wait to see Max Clark make his debut for the Tigers. Back to the National League, NL West, the Giants, it's very easy. It's Bryce Eldridge. In terms of raw power, some of the best in all of minor league baseball. The Giants are playing pretty horrible ball right now and not scoring very much. I think Bryce Eldridge is due for a call up. And let's be honest, he's absolutely tearing up Sacramento and AAA. Like, what are we doing? Just call him up, San Francisco. Give yourself a chance at getting the Rookie of the Year. Bryce Eldridge has 40 home run a year power potential. He struggled mightily last year when he did get the call up, and he's still only 21 years old, but he is a mountain of a man. 6'7", 251, 70 grade power. You just don't see that. Let him come up. Let him figure it out. I think it's time to give him the real chance, because, like, what are you doing with this team otherwise? Are you actually trying to win? If you're keeping Bryce Eldridge down, I don't think you are. It's time to call him up. Former two-way player, by the way. This guy threw like 100 off the mound as well, which is kind of insane to think about. Arizona Diamondbacks' best prospect, Ryan Walshman. Similarly, call him up, Arizona. I don't know how many more times we got to see Alek Thomas play the outfield before we realize he's probably a fourth outfielder. Ryan Walshman is that dude. The exit velos are great. The power is legit. While he does strike out, he does walk a ton too. Probably more of a corner outfielder than a center fielder. Like, I wouldn't play him out in center, but the hit, power, run tools from the offensive perspective, I think will be good enough for the Diamondbacks, a team that's playing better baseball than I expected. Call him up. Give him the opportunity. He's 23 years old. He was your 31st pick back in 2024. He looked good in spring training. I want to see what Walshman can do at the major league level. I want to see some of these teams push the chips in. Try and go for it instead of kind of sitting back and waiting. Like, come on, guys. Alek Thomas, 11 OPS plus. Tim Tawa's got a -10. You got to see what Ryan Walshman's got. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, their best prospect, it's still just Josue DePaula. I know James Tibbs has been popping off at AAA, and there's a chance that he might be the best prospect. When I'm looking at ceiling, though, I see a possible star in the making in Josue DePaula, where I see James Tibbs being a very, very good player. But DePaula's got the build, he's got the size, he's got the exit velos, he's got the plate discipline, he walks a ton, he steals bases. Can't play center field, he's more of a corner guy, but 60 hip, 60 power, left-handed swing that's just absolutely gorgeous. And cousins with my favorite basketball player ever, Stephon Marbury, from Brooklyn. This is my favorite prospect on the Dodgers. To my video, I get to choose. I don't think it's a hot take, but I am going with Josue DePaula. Also, keep an eye out for Emil Morales. That guy might end up being the best one in the org by the end of the year. Padres completely gutted their farm system. Who's their best prospect? I'm going to go with Cash Mayfield. I know a lot of people got Cruz Schoolcraft ahead of him. That's fine. We've just seen a little bit more of Mayfield, and I've liked what we have seen. In 60 innings last year at A-ball, struck out 88 batters, walking 28, a 2.97 ERA. The changeup is a really good pitch, and from a big dude who has a pretty solid fastball that sits in the mid-90s, the changeup helped get right-handed batters out, which is going to be huge for Cash Mayfield moving forward. Schoolcraft, again, might have higher ceiling. He's another monster of a human being, and there's debate which one you want to choose. But based on what we've seen thus far, I will give a slight edge to Cash Mayfield right now. Padres system's a mess, though. And lastly, for the NL West, top prospect for the Colorado Rockies, in my opinion, Charlie Condon. Ethan Holiday is great. He's going to be there very soon. Charlie Condon has like 1,000 OPS in AAA right now. The exit velos are phenomenal. I think there's a chance we're going to see him up at the major league level sooner than later as well. The Rockies have just some of the worst players in baseball, and this guy feels like he would instantly help this team, and I would love to see him hit some balls at Coors in that elevation. He's kind of doing it already in Albuquerque. The former number 3 overall pick just has some of the best raw power in the minors, a really good hit tool, probably plays first base rather than the outfield in Coors because he just doesn't particularly move that well or field that well. There's a lot of space to cover out there, but I mean, the guy hit 62 home runs in 2 years at the University of Georgia. The power's legit. I like guys who hit home runs. Charlie Condon does that. Last division, we've got the AL West, and for the Angels, their best prospect is Tyler Bremner. Number 2 overall pick in last year's draft out of UC Santa Barbara, Tyler Bremner's just a good pitcher. Fastball that sits in the upper 90s. Really, really good changeup. Like, that is a phenomenal second pitch. And unlike a lot of fastball changeups, guys, he has the topped out fastball near 100. The changeup has disgusting movement, and the slider is good enough that can work as a third pitch. I don't typically love fastball changeup guys, but the fact that the fastball and changeup are that good, along with a slider that's completely fine with good command, that's the makings of a frontline starter. I'm assuming the Angels are going to fly this guy through the system as long as he continues to show that he is capable. That's what they do with all their prospects. It's been a great start for him thus far. Can't wait to see what Bremner can do moving forward. For the Athletics, their best prospect, Leo DeVries. DeVries is awesome. Can't believe that they got him for Mason Miller. What a great job by that organization. It's legitimately a top 5 prospect in baseball. He's 19 years old at AA and he's dominating. After he dominated last year in 21 games, he's dominated every level he's been at. DeVries is truly a special prospect. 60 hit tool, 60 power tool, 60 run tool, 60 fielding, 60 arm, overall 60s across the board at 19 years old. He got a major signing bonus, nicknamed El Mutante, which is just such a sick nickname too. I don't think the A's are going to rush him. I don't think we see him in 2026 unless they're competing, and he really would make a difference. But this is someone who feels like he's going to be a cornerstone of that franchise come the Vegas times, because the stuff is really just so good with him. His swing, it's like butter from both sides. For the Texas Rangers, their number 1 prospect, injured right now, gonna miss some time, Sebastian Walcott. Similarly to DeVries and some of the other top young prospects that we've mentioned, Sebastian Walcott's just been really impressive at every level. Maybe not as great of a slash line as some of these others, but the underlying stuff for Walcott is fascinating. He hits balls unbelievably hard. He's only 20 years old and he's 6'4", 190. You're looking at a guy with legit 30 home run potential at the major league level, along with walking a ton, stealing bases. Probably doesn't play shortstop, looks to be more of a third baseman in my eyes, but power hitting third baseman with a good glove at that position, a really, really strong arm. And mega power potential, that to me is so exciting. And in a Ranger system that's weak, Sebastian Walcott is a clear gem, one of the best prospects in the league. Mariners farm system is absolutely loaded. Debated going Cade Anderson here. Instead, I'm going with Colt Emerson. They just gave him a ton of money, signed a contract before he even got to the major league level. He's going to get called up at some point. Colt Emerson is a 5-tool player. Going to be a guy who hits around 50 to 20 home runs a year, hit for a high average, get on base, play good defense, whether that's at shortstop or third base. I think he'll be completely capable at both, maybe even better at third base. Maybe not the fastest guy, but still a good athlete. Hits the ball to all fields, a sweet left-handed swing, a guy who really has just gotten better and better and better every single year. A real testament to the Mariners player development. At only 20 years old, doing what he's done, getting ready to make his major league debut. Yeah, this is a special prospect. And then last but certainly not least, the worst farm system in baseball, in my opinion, the Houston Astros. I'm going with Ethan Frey. Maybe a little bit of an unconventional pick, someone I want you guys to keep an eye out for. A little bit of an older prospect, taken last year, went to LSU. He's 22 years old at high A right now. But in the small samples that we've seen from Ethan Frey, really good power potential. A guy who could be a 25 to 30 home run hitter if all things click, if he gets there. He's a good outfielder, runs well. He's got a huge frame. He's 6'6". He's disciplined. He drives the baseball well. I think he can end up playing the outfield, might end up being more of a DH. The Astros have done pretty well with guys this size who just absolutely mash. Granted, it was from the left side, not the right side. But I like Ethan Frey, someone who in a weak farm system I want to look out for. Xavier Nyans, Kevin Alvarez are even further away than Frey, so that's why I'm waiting on them. They might have higher ceilings, but Frey's a name that I'm looking out for this year. So there they are, my prospect rankings. Let me know what you're thinking about them down in the comment section below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content. Otherwise, you know the rules from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.